Everyone else.
Hello.
Welcome,
Yep,
everyone,
thank
to
you.
the Water and Sewer Utility Committee meeting today, Tuesday, February the 13th. I'm welcoming Councillor Justin Mattard online, and I'd like to call to order the meeting, and we'll go into number 2, approval of agenda. Moved by Councillor Ramsey, second by Mayor Brown. And any declarations of conflict of interest? None?
No.
Okay, we'll go down to the adoption of previous draft minutes for Tuesday, January 23. Any questions on that, anybody? Moved by Mayor Brown, second by Councillor Ramsey. Any questions, Councillor Mattard?
No, I don't. Thank you.
Okay, we'll go into number 6, discussions and reports. Okay, the manager, or I guess it's Joshua McGinnis, you can talk about the proposed water and sewer service fees.
The attachment to the report is our table, as discussed in our January 2-3 meeting. We're proposing a 3% increase to the rates. On the average customer, that's $1.59 per month increase. The second page of that attachment as well is proposed fee increases, and that's for water turn on, turn off, any new installations as well. And those are kind of the proposed rates are highlighted, the ones that'll be proposed to be changed. If there's any question on those.
Any questions, Councillor Ramsey? Go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. So your last one, Joshua, you said it's just for basically new bills or water that has been shut off. So when we go back in, there's going to be a cost to that? Is that what you said for your second presentation there? Shut off and I'm just trying to understand what you're saying there.
Correct. So for any work that we do, whether it's a turn on, turn off, or if it's a kind of a service fee for when we go in and do maintenance work, those are our proposed fees on that second page. And then the highlighted ones there are the ones that we're proposing to change. They'd be at the very bottom of that second table.
Right. So you're, and pardon me, but I'm just trying to explain it. You're just trying to understand it anyway. So the first is $1.59 a month for every citizen, basically. And then if there's a new build or something along that line, then there's a little extra added cost to that. But for me, who's not going to build or stay in my same home, it's going to be about $1.59 a month. Is that what you're saying?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Ramsey.
Through the chair.
Yes, go ahead, Councillor Mattard.
Josh, to the chair, this might be a slight minor detail. Just in the report, it says that they're proposing 3% increase to the 2023 water and sewer rates. But that would be the 24-25, or is like the 24 year, I'm assuming? It's probably just a minor typo, but I just wanted to clarify that this is, in fact, we're doing the 24 water sewer rates.
Correct.
Because in the report it says 23, so just a minor typo likely, but maybe not. Maybe your line, your thing difference.
Yeah, no, you're along the right train of thought. It's a 3% increase to the 2023 water and sewer rates, so that'd be last year's rates will be increased for 2024.
Okay.
Just the wording, I guess.
Wait, just the wording, yeah. Okay, no, that makes sense. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I just have one question there. Like on the meter installation incentive / quarter, what does that mean? What is that? It's the first one that's highlighted on the second page. On page 7, I guess. Is that what we're looking at? It's meter installation incentive. It's on page 7.
Yeah, so that's a charge that we put in place many years ago, recognizing that we still have some customers who have not yet switched to being metered customers. So that's the incentive charge that we put to them every quarter, saying, please be in line with the bylaw, we are providing an incentive to you to get that meter installed. So we still have some customers who have not yet come into compliance with our bylaw and still are choosing not to become metered customers. So we currently charge them $200 per quarter because we don't know how much they're actually using, and the assumption is they must be using a lot more water than our average customer, and they continue to be willing to pay that extra $200 per quarter. So to further incentivize them to become metered customers and in compliance with the bylaw, we're proposing that we increase that quarterly charge to $250.
Which seems fair. Now, we received an email there a little while ago with a individual. They couldn't get a certain business to hook their meter up. Are we only using one business, or, you know, it seems to me you could get a plumber, or what? I don't know if you received the email, what I'm talking about. Okay, thank you.
Yes, so we do have one contractor that we do use, but yes, we could find another contractor who could go in and do that. But we do have one company that we contracted early on in that process to do it, and they do look after it. And we've been pushing them to get scheduled when we do have customers who want to get it changed.
Okay, thank you. That makes sense. It just says there's so many plumbers, right? So, I mean, if this lady can't get hooked up and she's trying to, then, you know, we have to make other arrangements, I would believe.
And also, we take note of when that request comes in, and that's once it is actually installed, we give the credit back to that time.
Perfect, thank you.
Sure.
Go ahead, Councillor Ansel.
Yes, and I personally like to thank them for breaking it down per month, because when we see our residents and they say, oh, 3% increase, well, then we have information to say, well, it's $1.59 a month. And I think that smooths the water over a little bit. So I personally thank you for, you know, breaking that down, and I wish we can do that like with every department, because it's an easier sell, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, and
To the chair, just one other question.
go right ahead, Councillor Matar.
So as a committee, we're proposing a 3% increase to go to finance for our budget, our upcoming budget. Is that correct?
Yes, I guess that's what we're thinking of.
Yeah. Yep.
You know, with the increase of wages, fuel, equipment, everything, this is to keep us just moving ahead. So I think that's
And in line with
our committee
CPI
was-
as well. Okay.
was
Just
looking-
wondering if that's the decision we're making. I would support moving it forward to the finance department on a 3% increase if that's the objective of the report today.
Yeah.
I don't know if we've seen it yet. Are we there yet? Like,
Yeah, sure. And the 3% we talked about at our last meeting, but what I recognized after that meeting is I hadn't brought forward the service charge rates at that meeting. So we talked about the 3%. So today we brought forward what that chart would look like, as well as the other fees that we charge. And we recognize that there were some of them, the meter incentive surcharge that we should look at increasing this year, as well as our wage rate, and then also adding a fee for our vehicles. We recognize that we have that expense, but we're not charging that out when we do a job for installation of infrastructure. So looking to recover some of those costs because it's a cost of us doing that business.
thank you.
Mr. Chair,
Mayor Brown has a question. Go ahead.
just on that, it's on page 7. So the daily city crew cab, that's $50 an hour or $50 for the day?
That's $50 for the day.
Okay. That was never charged before. That's, I was going to ask that question. But is that not part of the service that we pay a water and sewer rate? That if we do have an issue with, let's say, there's water leaking on our streets, or we get water leaking out of something that's on our property, that's a water and wastewater issue, that we covered that before because of the rates we're paying?
So these are charge out rates when
Yeah.
we do work that we charge to contractors or if we're putting a service in place. So these, It is up to a new development or a new build, or when we do work that we charge out, these are the rates that we charge out. So we recognize, so we charge for our backhoe per hour and our labor rate. We just recognize that in the past, we weren't charging the cost of having vehicles available to do these jobs. So it's cost recovery.
So-
It's not our regular daily operations. This is when we're charging work out.
Yeah, so that would be to, let's say if my line going out to the main line is backed up and you have to come in to check on it, is that a $50 charge? I'm just trying to clarify. I don't, this is a new charge that we're applying, correct? Never before.
Just the recognizing that we have a vehicle on site. So, I mean, we've always charged for work. Again, this is when we do charge for work. So there's a difference between us doing our regular maintenance work and when we do charge out work. So when, say there's a lot that needs a service put to it and there's no service there and we're going to charge for that, we go and we give them a quote on the labor hours and the backhoe, and now we've and our tampers, all of our equipment, we have a rate for it. We just recognize that we haven't been also charging for the fact that we have a truck that has gone to that site, and it costs us money to have that truck on the site. So it's a charge for the vehicle.
But,
How
you
you
know,
gonna get
Rich,
there? You gonna take the bus?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, so
ahead.
all I just want to find out, like, as soon as you put that there, next year it's going to go up to 100, and then that 150. I'm just, like, again, we had this discussion last night about, you know, development permits and building a new house and adding costs that would cover infrastructure, whether it's sidewalks, lights, and so, like, when I pay my water and wastewater bill, I'm paying for a service, and that service should be, if something happens, that if a daily city crew cab shows up, that's part of what I pay to cover my water and sewer rate that I pay on a quarterly basis. And no, Rich, I know what you're going to say. I know. I just find that we're adding more fees to something that's getting feed over.
Well, would the committee like to look at that? You know, it's not in stone. This is why you're here at the committee, to discuss it.
Yeah.
And I mean, we did go with a 3% cost increase. You know, we never fledged on that. We knew that we would get things going with the cost of everything. But if this is an item where, you know, the committee feels that maybe it shouldn't be there, then we could.
Yeah, I don't think it should be there.
Okay, do you want to move that?
Yeah,
You
I'll
want a
move to
second,
take it out of there.
Councillor Anderson? Anybody else?
Yeah, just
the
to clarify too, that's, just to get there, Richard, right? That's $50 for the day, right? Or if they're there for 1 hour or 18 hours? Am I correct with that? With the daily city crew cab?
I think I've failed to explain what that is. We don't charge for the backhoe when we're going to do a repair. This is when there's a charge, and it could be outside the city when we are doing work pseudo as a contractor. These are our when we are acting as a contractor, that we are billing our services out to somebody. It's not when we're responding to a main break or helping a customer out with the regular what you pay for with your daily rates. This is when we are charging a contractor. It can be a contractor who's doing work and we are doing part of that contract work. This is a contract fee. It's not, you're going to call tomorrow and you have a backup and we're going to charge you $50 because we're taking a vehicle there. That's not what this is. This is when we are charging our work out, and it's the same as our backhoe rate. We don't charge somebody when we go to do a main break or something like that in the street. This is when we are collecting back the costs from work that the utility has done, and we are charging somebody for that work. It's not an extra fee that we're adding for our regular service. It's to make sure that we are covering the cost for the work that we're doing for somebody. It can be a contractor or a new installation.
So just for clarification, Manager McEwen, if the mayor was building a new house and you had to hook the water line up and your crew went in with a backhoe and a crew to do whatever, would they be charged $50?
It depends. So if it's a job where we are charging the pipe and all the work that takes place to put that in, yes, we would include the fact that part of the cost for that installation includes us having vehicles at that site that we needed to bring vehicles there, and we have our backhoe charge. So if there's work being done, it's part of the work that we need. The same as if we use a generator at the site, we charge for that generator.
Okay, you have any questions, Councillor Mattard?
No, thank you. When I was first listening to it, based on what the mayor's comments were, I was supportive of the rationale and based on the explanation. But now that the manager has explained it more differently, I don't think it aligns with what the mayor originally thought the cost was back on to the average homeowner. So if I'm understanding correctly, this is not back onto the homeowner in the sense of when we have repairs. Someone's called out and, that's all just part of doing business with the city as part of the fees that we pay. So if I understand that correctly, then I'm fine with leaving it as is.
Yeah, no.
Okay, what do you want to do?
No, I don't want it, but
Okay,
look,
so
if the
just we
committee,
have a vote here,
yeah,
right?
if the committee does, okay,
Okay, we have one vote.
Yeah.
You're the deciding vote, Councillor Ramsey. That's pressure you're under.
yeah.
That's why I paid the big bucks.
So are you going to charge it, or?
I will, the way Richie just explained it for contractors, I would leave it in.
Yeah, just remember, the contractors will bill the homeowner, which will includes this bill too, okay? So it's a trickle-down effect. Just remember that. Could I just,
That's right. So are you okay, Councillor Mattard? With that explanation, it eventually is going to go to the homeowner, right? So,
Well, if it eventually is going to go to the home, I'm hearing the mayor give the rationale of it. I'm not sure if it should be Richard answering that, saying, because I'm listening to the mayor and saying, okay, well, he's explaining it and this is what it's going to be. So if he says it's going to ultimately come back down on the homeowner, then no, I don't agree with it. But if it's the other way, and as Richard was explaining, it's part of the contract work they're doing and such, that to me sounds a bit different. So I need Richard to divide that up and say the mayor is correct or the mayor is not correct, because I'm getting the explanation from the mayor.
Yeah, so the point is, I understand the mayor's point as well, but this is when we send a bill out for work that we have contracted, and the mayor's point is that somebody eventually has to pay that bill. But my point is that we prepare those bills now, and we've recognized that when we pay bills from other contractors, we're seeing that they have vehicle rates in there, and that, yes, we also have that cost for the utility, and the people that we are charging that bill to, that is something that we should be including in our itemized bills to a contractor or whoever is doing the work. The mayor's point is that bill then gets passed on to a new homeowner, but it's a cost of putting that service in, and that's why we're suggesting that it be included. I also just want to point out to the committee that we would still put this forward to council for their approval, but it can be noted that the committee wasn't in support of it or was in support of it, but it's council who will make this decision.
yeah, it's
recommendation?
And it's the same as you go fire and police, right? If there's a fire, you have the trucks there. If there's an incident, the police cars go there. They don't charge so much for a truck or a fire truck or a police van or the corporal's van, or, this is a cost of doing business. This is a new charge for the city corporation. So, I guess we can vote. It'll go to council for approval,
Yep.
and it's 2-1 with the mayor saying no.
Yeah, that's fine.
Chair, Chair, can I speak to the chair? Through the chair, if based on that explanation of, I think it is the cost of it, I would not support adding it in then based on what we've now talked about and understand.
And I agree.
So now we're at
Yeah.
3-0,
Yeah.
not to put it in.
Yeah.
Okay?
I mean, but council could change all
Yeah,
that
they
too,
can,
as
council
Richard
can
said,
change
right?
it. Richard's, description of it, it'll go to council and we can discuss it there.
May I add one more thing?
You can
Mr.
certainly
Chair?
go ahead, yep.
Richard, I'll throw the chair to Richard. Is that going to would that make a big difference in our bottom line for sewer and water? That extra $50, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. If it's not going to really, do a whole lot, I mean, we may as well not even put it in.
Not really, but it's just recognizing that it's the cost of us doing that work. And again, we see that type of fee or charge from other contractors, and we just recognized, oh, we don't currently include that in our billing when we send a bill out to somebody who needs to pay the bill for the work that we're doing.
But yeah, it is, but then again, we are special here. You're a corporation, right? You're paid for by the residents. It's not like a general contractor, like, Kevin's home renovations that he's charging for a $50 truck. This is quite different, if I'm not mistaken.
No, but it's not. This is when we are acting as a contractor. We charge per hour for the backhoe. We charge per hour for the staff that we have there. This is when we generate a bill as though we were a contractor.
I understand. I mean, we're very agreeable to the 3%. This is just one little issue, so we can debate this at council.
So,
Let's
Mr.
just
Chair,
move on.
just on these rates, again, the 250, this keeps coming up every year, the meter installations. So how many meters do we have out there, Josh? 12,000? 14,000?
It's in that range, the 12,000 range.
Okay, 12,000, okay. So how many residents don't have a meter? We must know that. So it's going down every year,
Correct.
yeah. So it's down to 150?
170.
170, okay. And Josh, if I look at the increase for the 3%, that's again going back to a policy, Mr. Chair, that I think we adopted a couple of years ago to ride it with CPI. So CPI is up 2% this year. Do you guys have the number?
I believe it's 3.
3. Okay, so the 3% is applied to both water and wastewater, correct? I'm just trying to, because in the past, sometimes we just did it for water, but this is 3% increase for turning on the tap or flushing, and flushing your toilet, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so we've ended 10 months of our fiscal year 23-24, so we're into our fourth quarter. Where are we at on revenue expenditures? Are we below, like, are we in the red? Are we in the black? And do we have an estimate where we are? Because I looked at the numbers look pretty good. So would we, after 10 months in the fourth quarter, are we in the black by 300, $500,000, less? I know we're not in the red. Yeah. So surplus could be about $500,000, if my numbers are right. Okay. So just adding, again, Mr. Chair, is that this is a recommendation up to finance. So I'm agreeing with the recommendation because it applies to both water, wastewater, and we're just, again, making sure that we have a very solvent or a very in the black utility, which is good news. I am. To recommend it to go up to finance? Yes, I'm supporting that.
And on that, Richard, with the meter, you're saying it's probably approximately 150 people. And you're not, if I heard you right, you're not having any issues with the people paying that $200 on their bill or something like that? And like, is there a reason why we cannot get those? I asked this question to council for the last 2 or 3 years, like how many people are left? And is there a reason why they won't go on their meter? Like, I don't know, or is it a personal thing or what?
I can't answer it for you. I mean, we keep putting this up, so it's going to be an extra $1,000 that they're willing to pay. So I don't know how much water they're using, how many swimming pools they feel they're using, but they continue to not choose to put a meter on, which is what our bylaw states, that they must be.
Any questions, Councilor Matard?
No, I'm prepared to move the 3% forward to finance for budget approval.
Perfect. Great. Perfect. Thank you. All right, we'll go on to the next item on the agenda. Joshua, I guess you're up again, are you?
Thank you. Yes, so we'll give a quick update on the capital projects the utility currently has on the go. The attachment is a table with the major projects listed. So we can kind of go through one by one. First one there is the Eastern Gateway Phase 1. Most of the water element for this phase has been completed, so still remaining is the sewer and storm and resurface. Part of that being in conjunction with Public Works.
Just one question on the first one. So, Birch Hill, they did the Phase 1 estimated completion date, 2024. Is that just any time in 2024, or? The first one.
I have the first one as Eastern Gateway Water and Sewer Upgrades.
Yeah,
Oh, Birch Hill. Sorry, I know a contractor, Birch Hill, sorry. Yeah.
percent complete, 30%?
We are hoping for the first half of 2024, so early summer for Phase 1.
Okay, thank you.
So there is a Phase 2 with Eastern Gateway that's coming through Public Works. That tender is in the process, and Public Works will go through that with committee. So the second one is Passmore Street. That's 100% complete for this list. The next is the pollution control plant resiliency improvements. We're approximately 90% complete. There's some smaller upgrades to be completed yet. The next one is the pollution control plant digester roof replacement, or rehabilitation, I should say, not replacement. The primary tank has been completed, and we are yet to complete the secondary tank, and we're hoping to look at that being completed late this year, hopefully fall 2024. Next one is the Mount Edward Road Booster Station upgrades. That's in progress, approximately 70% complete. Next is Seaview Boulevard. So that tender had closed, I do believe, Monday, and there was 4 bids. That's with Public Works. They'll bring that to committee, I believe, shortly.
May I speak on that one? Mr. Chair?
Go right ahead.
Seaview Boulevard, which is Ward 5, my ward. So that's just the sewer and water part of it there. As you stated, Joshua, then Public Works has got another budget for that also?
Correct.
Okay. And that's starting in the spring, I see. We hope again this year.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, because that was put off last year and the year before. So, thank you.
The next one is sewer lift station rehabilitation. That's underway, approximately 80% complete. The Malpex station refurbishment. So part of that has been underway. Most recently, we were discussing the roof, so we're in the review of that. And then communications upgrade, that's in progress and continuing.
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead, Councilor Mattar.
just on the communications upgrade, Joshua, I'm looking at the budget was currently $2 million for that. When you say awarded cost, I have to assume that was what the tender was awarded at 1.65. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And then we are looking at, to date, $425,000 in change requests.
Correct.
And then you just indicated we're not quite done, so I know your progress is 90%. But of the 10% remaining, how much of that do you anticipate more change requests, or is that 10% of what was originally in scope of the project, or do we expect maybe further change orders as a result of the remaining 10%?
That 10% should be within the awarded cost, correct?
Okay. So we're just a little over budget, not much, but, okay. I was just curious on whether or not there was going to be any further substantial overruns or change orders.
No? Thank you for that, Councilor Matar. And it says completion in 2024. Are we going to complete it?
That's the goal.
So where are we at now? What's going on now? Where are we at? 90%? 10% left to go?
Correct.
You have the maps, everything like that that's left? Could we have them for the next meeting to see where we're?
Yep, absolutely. We can
where
provide
we're
that
gonna
for
be
the next
completed?
meeting.
Okay. That'd be great. Any questions?
That's great,
Mayor
Mr.
Brown?
Chair. Could I just follow up on that? So, we did pass a resolution to go with the expression of interest or an RFQ to do with independent, third-party, independent review of the Milton Vale Wellfield Development Phase 3B communication system. So, we will follow up with that right away because we can go to tender on that, right? And we can use what was in the resolution as parameters for that EOI or RFQ. And I thought, Mr. Chair, that this was up now to 2.2 million last year. I was a little, again, Josh, I thought we've already approved, because I do have in front of me the water and wastewater utility, Friday, August 2nd, 2019. Low bidder was WM&M, 1,650,000. But I thought we had some change orders since 2019. Did we not, Josh?
That's correct. And it's that 425,000 or approximately in the rightmost column.
Yeah, I think that was in last year's column too, wasn't it? So he didn't spend any money? Or we just, oh,
There's been, no, there's been nothing expensed extra from that.
okay. So I just want to make sure that we do pass this EOI and I'll share it with you right after the meeting. Mr. Chair, during Hurricane Fiona, we had power outage all across the island. And our lift stations, I think we have 12 or 14. Is that right, Josh? Or is it more than that?
There are more, but
How many would have backup generators? Because without the backup generators, that raw wastewater is going right out into the harbor, correct? Oh, is that correct? Where does it go? Pump it where? Back into the system?
No, we use a vacuum truck to take it from the wet well. We use a vacuum truck to take it from the wet well to the manhole where the force main would discharge.
Okay, so Mr. Chair, I'm just wondering why we don't have some it would be a capital expenditure, I'm assuming, because it's a capital asset. Is it part of another? Is it somewhere else in your budget that we don't see today? Or is it?
No, it's in the lift station upgrades that you see on this schedule and that we are doing. We also have a portable generator that we run around to some of the lift stations that also gives them power. But no, you see the upgrades at the lift stations.
It says sewer lift station rehabilitation, that's not it? Is that it?
Yes. Yeah, so when we're
Oh, it's-
doing work at our lift stations, some of them we're adding backup power to them.
Okay, so would that include backup generators or just portable generators?
So the ones we're putting in stationary at those lift stations, but we also have portable generators that we can use.
And Richard, I think you have an idea how many we have. How many lift stations do we have for the city?
Yeah, 40.
40. So are we looking at backup generators for the 40 or just a portable, a number of portables to run around and power up the lift stations to move that wastewater to the next level?
Yeah, that's what we look at. So how we can best manage it. So either if it's a bigger, busier lift stations, and all of our large sewer lift stations have backup generators, we're just working down through them to the ones that right now, because I mean, ideally we don't want to have to run a vacuum truck to them. So we are set up so that we can either run a generator to them, or the smaller ones we do run with a HVAC truck. We're making improvements all the time on our ability to handle that with backup generation.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Any questions, Councillor Ramsey, Councillor Matar? Good?
No further questions here. Thank you.
Perfect. So that concludes everything. We're going back to, where are we going? New business there? Just one second. Okay, introduction of new business.
Mr. Chair, can I just add for next meeting?
Yes.
We do have the growth management strategy that was completed by CBCL. It's a 400-plus page document, but there is one section, Chapter 8, that's totally focused on water and wastewater. I'm just wondering if we can get an update on our capital projects and how they connect or correlate with the strategy. And I know it's just a strategy, but I'm just wondering if we're looking at that as a guiding light or a guiding principle on our work going forward. That's all I want to add for the next, I know they don't have the preparation, but just a notice, provide that.
Sure, noted. Manager McEwen, you could get that
Yeah.
ready for next month as well?
Sure. I mean, and it is what we look at it as part of it, but most of our planning right now is in cooperation with Public Works. But as we do our 5-year plan and start to move forward, I mean, those things are things that need to be addressed in the 5-year plan. We'll look at it, but certainly it is a part of what guides us in our planning.
Perfect, thank you, thank you. So, we're down to number 8, adjournment. Yeah. Second. Thank you. Councillor Ramsey, second by
Thank you.
Mayor Brown. Thank you, Justin.
Thank you very much. Have a great day, everybody.
Thank you.
Same to you. Bye now.
Tuesday night ski nights are. Oh, yeah, that's true.